You see a man standing on the edge of a jagged cliff in the Upper Mustang region of Nepal. He is 62 years old, but from 50 yards away, you'd swear he was 30. He isn't wearing a high-tech thermal jacket or expensive hiking boots. He wears a thin crimson robe, and his feet are tucked into simple leather sandals. As he lifts a heavy stone to repair a crumbling prayer wall, the skin on his arms pulls tight over rope-like muscle. There is no middle-aged softness here, no inflammation, no fatigue. This man hasn't eaten in 22 hours. He will not eat for another 2. We are told that to survive, we must consume. We are told that muscle is a luxury the body discards after 40 unless we feed it a constant drip of protein. We are told that hunger is a crisis. But this man is the living proof that the modern world has it backward. He isn't strong despite his hunger. He is strong because of it. This is the story of how a dying man from the city learned to stop eating, and in doing so, finally learned how to live. Elias Thorne was a builder of skyscrapers, but he couldn't even build a flight of stairs without his knees screaming. At 55, Elias was the definition of successful. He had the corner office in Chicago, the accolades, and a diet designed by a high-priced nutritionist. He ate 6 times a day. He had his protein shakes at 7 a.m., his mid-morning almond snack, his lean chicken breast at noon, and his slow-release casein before bed. Keep the furnace burning, his trainer told him. Don't let the metabolism drop. But the furnace was failing. Despite the constant feeding, Elias felt like he was made of wet cardboard. He was skinny fat. His limbs were thinning, but a stubborn layer of visceral fat clung to his midsection. His brain felt like it was trapped in a permanent fog. He was always tired, yet he couldn't sleep. He was always eating, yet he was always hungry. The breaking point came during a site visit to a new hotel. A simple climb up a ladder left him gasping, his grip failing. His muscles weren't just small, they were unresponsive. 3 weeks later, Elias walked away. He took a sabbatical that his colleagues called a midlife crisis. He didn't go to a beach in Italy. He went to the one place where time seemed to move differently, the forbidden kingdom of Lo. Elias met Tenzin on his 3rd day in the mountains. Tenzin was the monk you saw on the cliff, a man who seemed carved out of the mountain itself. Elias was struggling, gasping in the thin air, clutching a bag of energy chews and a sports drink. Tenzin watched him with a look of quiet amusement. "You are carrying so much food," Tenzin said, his voice like grinding gravel. "Yet you have no power." "I have to keep my blood sugar up," Elias panted. "If I don't eat, I'll crash." Tenzin invited him to the monastery. The next morning, at 4:30 a.m., Elias expected a hearty mountain breakfast. Instead, Tenzin handed him a wooden bowl filled with a steaming, salty liquid. "This is the bridge," Tenzin said. It was yak butter tea. It was thick, salty, and oily. There was no sugar. No bread. No fruit. "Where is the food?" Elias asked. "The food is inside you," Tenzin replied, gesturing to Elias's own body. "But your body has forgotten how to find it. You have kept the doors locked with a key made of sugar. This tea does not open the door, but it gives you the strength to stand in the hallway until the door opens itself." Elias drank. For the first hour, he waited for the crash. He waited for the hangry irritability that usually came when he missed his 9 a.m. snack. But it didn't come. By 10 a.m., something strange happened. The fog in his brain, the one he'd lived with for a decade, began to lift. He felt a cold, sharp clarity. His hands stopped shaking. He wasn't full, but he wasn't desperate. He was, for the first time in his life, metabolically flexible. Tenzin didn't know the word insulin, but he understood the ghost. "If you invite the guest into your house every hour," Tenzin told him as they hauled water from a spring, "the house never gets cleaned. The guest leaves trash everywhere. To clean the house, the guest must leave. In the modern world, we call this insulin sensitivity. Elias realized that his 6 meals a day habit had kept his insulin levels permanently spiked. And insulin is a storage hormone. When it's high, the exit doors to your fat stores are locked shut. Your body cannot burn its own fuel because it is too busy dealing with the guest. But more importantly, Tenzin explained that the body only builds true strength when it thinks it has to survive. When Elias fasted with Tenzin, his body entered autophagy, a cellular spring cleaning, where the body breaks down old, damaged proteins and recycling them. But there was a second, more powerful shadow at work: growth hormone. Because Elias wasn't spiking his insulin, his pituitary gland began to pulse. In the absence of food, the body releases growth hormone to protect its most precious asset, muscle. The body isn't stupid. It knows that a starving hunter who loses his muscle will die. So it locks the muscle in a vault and burns the fat for fuel. Elias was becoming a hunter again. At 11:30 a.m., the bell rang. This was the moment Elias had been dreaming of. But Tenzin didn't eat like a bird. He didn't eat a balanced, light snack. He ate like a king. Tenzin sat before a massive bowl. He started with the protein: dried yak meat, condensed fermented cheese. Elias watched as the monk consumed what looked like 50 or 60 grams of protein in a single sitting. Then came the sampa roasted barley flour mixed with more tea to create a thick dough. Finally, a mountain of bitter greens. "One meal," Elias whispered. "But it's huge. If you eat like a mouse all day," Tenzin said, "your body will become a mouse. If you eat like a lion once, your body remembers it is a lion." This was the anabolic trigger. Elias learned that muscle growth isn't a slow drip. It's a flood. By consuming a massive amount of protein and nutrients in a short, 60-minute window, Tenzin was triggering a massive spike in mTOR, the body's primary signaling pathway for muscle growth. Because Tenzin's body had been screening for nutrients for 20 hours, his muscles were like sponges. Every gram of protein, every calorie from the barley, was shuttled directly into the tissue. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was stored as fat. After the meal, Tenzin didn't go back to work. He sat. He breathed. He stayed in a state of rest and digest for 20 minutes. "The meal is a ceremony," Tenzin said. "If you rush the ceremony, the gods do not hear you." Elias stayed in the monastery for 3 months. He followed the protocol with religious devotion: the dawn bridge, butter tea at 5 a.m., the active fast, moving, lifting, and walking while his growth hormone was at its peak. The lion's feast, one massive nutrient-dense meal at noon. The silence, no more calories until the next morning. The first week was hell. His body screamed for the sugar drip it was used to. He felt cold. He felt small. But in the second week, the monk's magic took hold. He woke up before the bell, his mind racing with ideas. The chronic ache in his lower back vanished. But the most shocking change was in the mirror, or rather, the reflection in the monastery's copper basins. This skinny fat architect was disappearing. His shoulders were widening. His jawline, buried under years of grazing inflammation, re-emerged. He was losing weight, but he was getting heavier in his lifts. He was stronger at 55 than he had been at 25. He realized that for 30 years he had been overfed but undernourished. By compressing his food, he had forced his body to become efficient. When Elias returned to Chicago, his business partners didn't recognize him. "What did you do?" they asked. "Stem cells? A secret clinic in Switzerland?" Elias just smiled and poured a cup of black tea with a pat of grass-fed butter. He didn't return to the 6-meal-a-day grind. He brought the mountains back with him. He designed his life around the 20-to-4 rhythm. He realized that the modern world is designed to keep us in a growth phase that never ends. But in nature, growth only happens after a period of decay. You cannot have the harvest without the winter. Elias Thorne, the man who couldn't climb a ladder, now spends his weekends ice climbing. He eats one massive, glorious meal at 2 p.m. every day. He doesn't carry energy bars. He doesn't worry about his anabolic window. He has realized the ultimate truth that the monks of Tashulanpo have known for centuries. Muscle is not built by what you add. It is built by what you have the courage to take away. Elias's story isn't just a story about a monk in a robe. It's a blueprint for the modern man and woman who feels their vitality slipping away. If you want to stop the wasting and start the building, you don't need more supplements. You need a different clock. The summary of the Thorne Protocol. Don't fear the morning. Use a fat bridge. Black coffee or tea with a small amount of healthy fat, butter, ghee, or MCT oil. No sugar, no protein. This keeps your insulin at 0 while your growth hormone climbs. The movement signal. Don't sit still while you fast. Walk. Do bodyweight squats. Signal to your body that the muscle is essential for your survival. The 40-gram rule. When you finally eat, do not snack. You must hit the protein threshold. If you don't get at least 40 to 50 grams of high-quality protein in that first meal, you will stay in a wasting state. Compress, don't restrict. Don't eat less total food. Just eat it in less time. Feed the lion, then let the lion rest. The world will tell you that you are fragile. It will tell you that your body is a car that will run out of gas if you don't stop at every station. But you are not a car. You are a biological masterpiece designed for the hunt. Stop grazing, start feasting, and see what happens when you finally let your body clean its own house.